Really? I am just a figment of your imagination.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, and good night to everybody. How you doing? This is Commander 401, and welcome. We have our guests, Tiny Captain and Brainless Steel, and Al, if you do want to come back, you're perfectly welcome.
Probably Al's connection messing up.
It's cool. We have a very special show for you. We're going to be discussing conspiratards, and boy, are they going to feel validated when the deep state is picking on them. Our first one is someone who believes that he was raped by Bigfoot.
Oh, that cunt.
This
Sorry
is
for
where
my
it
language.
happened, back here in this dry creek bed. I was back here looking. I thought one of my dogs was back here, and I was like, how'd the dog get out of the yard? I saw a bunch of, movement, and then I got back and well, maybe it's a deer. And then I was worried about my dogs because there's a lot of Bigfoot and Sasquatch in this area. I didn't have a gun with me, and so I got back here, and that's when I saw the female Sasquatch. She tore out of the bushes, knocked me down on the ground, and I thought she was gonna kill me. I'm like grabbing for a gun, and then I realized I didn't bring a gun with me. I didn't have a dog with me. I was back here by myself. I was terrified. I was so terrified. It was so scary, and I wouldn't be back here right now except I feel the need. As soon as I was knocked down on the ground, she starts ripping my clothes off me. She did. She pulled my pants off me, and I'm like, oh great, what? She's gonna kill me. They're gonna find my naked body here. It's worse. It's worse. As soon as she got my pants off me, she started like jerking the ween, and I'm like, whoa, that's not gonna work. What are you doing? And then the next thing I know, keep in mind, this is a big Sasquatch, like comparable to like a big hairy Russian woman. I mean, she was big. She was like, 7.5, 8 feet tall and hairy. And so I'm down there on the ground. I'm completely naked. My clothes have been ripped off me, and she starts giving me a knobber. It was all just biological. I didn't have any choice. And the next thing you know,
Yeah.
It was all biological. I didn't have a choice.
I didn't want to. It was ugly, but I still got a hard on.
And but to be honest, like if it gets touched, it's just a physical reaction. So yeah, but like it is like just it's an act. The way he's talking and he's not scared. He's not scared at this moment, because if he was scared, he would have been holding that gun properly.
And who wants to bet that this is just he wound up taking a bad bet and said, well, now you got to go online and claim that you were raped by Bigfoot?
Oh, I've not thought of that. Oh, brilliant. Oh, that would be, But isn't he also the person with that has the fake Bigfoot foot?
Well, the fake Bigfoot or the real Bigfoot? Does he have big feet?
Hey, Beck.
Hi, Beck. How you doing?
Hey, Beck.
And all the other nice people. There's more people in the side chat. Did we already say hi to them?
And if you want to come in, you can. I gave you a link through the Twitters and the Discord. And we got Demon Orb, and we got Al, and we got Mark Caesar. Hi, everybody.
Hello. Mark Caesar.
Do you want to continue with this this guy?
Yeah.
Well,
You know, I blew my load. I blew my load in the Sasquatch. As soon as I did that, she got up and she ripped down, she like let out this howl and then ripped down this tree. And I thought, my God, she's gonna like take the tree and take me and take it and smash me, right?
And there's Loki.
And the smashing. Hi, Loki. How you doing?
yeah. Yeah, that's. Mm.
And Martin.
And Martin made it. How you doing, Martin?
No, it didn't end. It didn't end. And then she starts blowing me again. She starts blowing me again. And I'm like, you know, could you give me 5 minutes? She didn't even give me 5 minutes. She started blowing me again. The next thing you know, I bust a nut again.
Like
this
is
guy
so
lost the
fucking
worst
laughable.
bet in the world.
And,
Yeah.
like it's said that he's making a laughable thing out of something that's actually quite horrible. But,
Yeah.
but still, like he is just so laughable, and I don't know what it is, but his voice, like it's
Yeah, but how he tells it makes it more unbelievable.
yeah he's telling it
It's
like he's
like-
telling a ghost story, like it's gotta
No,
be
no,
exciting.
no, no, no. It has to start with Dear Penthouse.
Yep. Like
Yeah.
old school.
At least maybe the Sasquatch could have stolen a few beers to make it easier on him.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Again, and then she stands up and does one of these like, isn't that good? I swear to God. I swear to God. Then she hightails it into the woods this way. Now, I didn't know what to
Good
do
thing
at this
that's
point.
got
I'm like, what do I do? I've been raped by a Bigfoot? Do I...
Yeah. Of course, you gotta tell the cops.
I mean, yeah.
Come on,
Yeah.
come on. What else are they gonna be laughing about?
I mean, they're just gonna pull out an 11-18 for him and then fill it in just like they do every night. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but like, come on,
Oh my God.
those like he probably lives in like a very small town where nothing happens. Come on, give the people something to laugh about.
That's how
Yeah.
this whole thing
Well,
came together in the first place.
Right. The Bigfoot decided, hey, he's never going to report me. And then, boy, wasn't the Bigfoot surprised.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got in a headline in the newspapers, and
That's right. Can't get away with nothing anymore.
Call the police? What do I do? I still don't know what to do. I mean, she could be pregnant with my child.
No.
I'll tell you
If
one
you
thing, I
fuck a
don't
dog,
go in
the
the
dog will not
Things
get
work.
pregnant.
I gotta-
Dumbass.
Well, I mean, we don't know.
We don't know
We don't have a lot
because,
to go on.
the certain percentage of Europeans have Neanderthal DNA, and like a tiger can have offspring with a lion. So
yeah, and a horse and a donkey they create a mule. So yeah,
Well, yeah, that's
But
documented
can
in biblical scripture.
can we have a baby with any other primate?
I don't know, and I don't want to find out.
no, maybe if the primate is close enough to our DNA, then it's possible. So a Bigfoot might be close to our DNA if they weren't imaginary and well, because if
he's
they
got
would
a bunch
exist,
of Littlefoots out there somewhere. That's a great one, Martin.
yeah, or actually, they will turn into hobbits,
Oh, that's where the hobbits
human-like
come from.
persons with Bigfoots.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Anymore unless I have a weapon with me. I'll get over this. I
Which
think
you're
I
not
should probably
holding
talk to
properly.
somebody. Maybe I'll...
Sorry, that just that his gun safety I just fucking hate it.
Yeah,
He is one of the reasons why people hate guns.
but
Like,
but also he said maybe she's now pregnant for my child, so now I will only go here with a gun with me. So he will shoot the mother of his child.
That's not nice.
That's not nice.
No.
If they need to go on Jerry Springer, that's what the two of them need to do.
I think he
Yeah.
died though. I think
That
Jerry's
will
not
be
with us
some
anymore.
very, very, very large shoes he would throw.
But maybe Montel. Is Montel still with us?
I don't know. They need to go on some daytime talk show.
Yeah, I want them to bring back Phil Donahue. That one was the best one.
A counselor or something.
Sally Jesse.
I've never been raped before this. And listen, if it was a female human, yeah, let's do it. But this was like
Then
a
it wasn't
creature. It
rape.
was like a monster.
Did you just say that?
So if he's
That's not
raised by a
cool.
human, it's okay.
well,
No,
he
no,
can't
that's-
get any pussy, so any woman wanting to have sex with him, he would be okay with that.
Yeah, but that's a terrible thing to say out loud. That's too far.
Yeah.
That's
But then
like,
again, like,
the
he
implication of that
technically
is
is an
terrible.
incel, but at least he doesn't seem to be like acting like your typical incel. So
There's a fucking monster. I was raped on a fucking dry creek bed. There's poison ivy all over here. I'm gonna have poison ivy probably on my ween. It sucks. It sucks, man. I felt like I couldn't get fucking clean. I got home and I started taking a bath and I just fucking feel like I can't get fucking clean. It's been a horrible experience and nobody will believe me. If I call the police, they're gonna tell me I'm fucking making it up.
Yeah, because you probably are.
Fucking horrible. That's the tree that she knocked down after the first time, after I busted my load into her. She's probably pregnant with my fucking hybrid baby. That's my guess. This is poison sumac, and this is all in the dried up creek bed. It's everywhere. I'm sure I'm gonna have poison sumac on my scroto, on the shaft.
On his what?
And I think it's probably getting probably beating a dead horse at this point. What do you guys think?
That's Sasquatch, you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it was a horse.
Oh, yeah.
You want to go to lizard people?
Wait,
They're gonna
are
be
we
less
allowed to
offensive.
expose
Someone
them?
once asked me if
We aren't allowed to expose them, are we?
This guy's, after basically trying to sell all this bullshit as truth, he's saying this is for entertainment purposes only, but his entire channel on Rumble is basically selling these lies.
Cults and Cover-Ups, a weekly series where we go on an adventure down the rabbit hole to examine alternative explanations for the curious circumstances we find ourselves living in today. Just a disclaimer before we begin, this is purely for entertainment purposes only and does think of this as a thought experiment, where we examine the human condition by exploring alternative points of view, and perhaps we might come across a few instances where we discover a few conspiracy theories that became conspiracy facts. So with that said, let's put on our tinfoil hats, grab a beverage, and get comfortable as we take a journey down this rabbit hole. If you've spent any time on the internet, you probably are familiar with the lizard people, also known as the reptilians. This conspiracy theory was popularized by David Icke, a conspiracy theorist who claims shapeshift.
David Icke, the biggest piece of crap the world has ever seen. He was on a British talk show and declared himself the JC in the early 90s. He was big into Greenpeace, and then somehow he managed to be a huge Trumper and be with QAnon.
Yeah.
reptilian aliens control Earth by taking on human form and gaining political power to manipulate human societies. Icke has stated on multiple occasions that many world leaders are or are possessed by so-called reptilians, including the likes of the Queen of England, the entire royal family, world politicians, and even Hollywood actors and actresses who grace the silver screen. Mr. David Icke was mostly responsible for popularizing this theory. However, its origins date back much further to Helena Blavatsky, who was a world-renowned writer and a
Blavatsky, that's actually something that I do want to get into later on, because there's a lot of connections between the conspiracy theorist world and that Russian bitch, and a lot of the crap being pushed by the Kremlin.
cultist in the
All right.
18th century who described them as dragon men who once had a mighty civilization on the Lemurian continent in her book The Secret Doctrine, written in 1888.
And I probably will touch on it because we have to show how awesome we deep staters are, because we were fucking with spirit science, evidently, all the way back in 2012 before we ever knew the deep state even existed. So we're probably going to play that towards the end. But if you were actually to watch Spirit Science's bullshit, he talks about Lemuria in his world history. And he's pushing lies for the Kremlin. Go figure.
There have been many references to reptilians in popular media such as Conan the Barbarian and even The Simpsons. But in the late 2000s is where this theory started to gain popularity amongst internet sleuths, where it later became a part of internet culture after the likes of David Icke and even Billy Corgan from the Smashing Pumpkins, referencing them on a Howard Stern show that claims that he has seen a reptilian while working in the music industry.
The person transformed into something other than human.
Yes, I saw it.
It is rather strange how this conspiracy theory gained such a following in the 2010s, with a large number of media figures seemingly almost to push the narrative.
It's almost like people just need to make shit up. I mean, anything from the light hitting someone's eye in the wrong way so that it looks like they have a slit eye. But it's all rooted in the anti-Semitism.
I actually thought the lizard people
Hello, Steve.
were actually created in 1983 in the sci-fi series V.
Well, a lot of these, like the Illuminati, right? That whole thing about the Illuminati was just kind of like a joke, I think, in a newsletter in the 1960s, and then someone ran with it. And it turned into the bullshit we got today.
Yeah.
I'm not making the acquisition that perhaps the growth of this theory is an inorganic ploy meant to distract and discredit other theories. I'm just thinking that it's a symptom of society at large. The theory's popularity did happen shortly after reality TV gained popularity, which mostly featured wealthy young celebrities such as Paris Hilton and the Kardashians. After a long string of politicians who stole from the public, they were sworn to serve. These are the figures that might have taken on the characteristics of reptiles, that of being cold-blooded and void of empathy in the eyes of the disillusioned public. The theory is rather fascinating, though. But I'm still not 100% convinced. I do think the idea is entertaining. But perhaps during the apocalypse, we'll find out the truth. Anyways, remember to like and subscribe. And as always, chemtrails in the sky, UFOs on the horizon. Have a wonderful day.
Please put your mic a bit further away from your mouth. And maybe get a better mic.
And there we have the first one. Does anyone really think that, like, it's not just, I don't want you to support this person, so lizard person?
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's also another thing really, really easy to actually discover that there's no lizard persons because those people that they actually think they are lizard persons, look at them in the wintertime. They still move. They still have energy to actually walk around. A lizard person
Oh,
is
you
cold
mean?
blooded, so they need the sun to actually be active.
Hmm.
That's very good point.
Of course, it's the captain.
Here's another one from the same creator.
The English royal family's lineage dates back centuries to Robert
Oh, you got a new
I,
mic.
the Duke of Normandy, from 1028 to 1035. Robert was called Robert the Devil, accused of poisoning his brother, whom Robert succeeded as Duke. Not an actual devil, however, he was one of the first of many to be linked to the dark forces around us. Brew some coffee, pull up a chair, and open your mind. This week on Science vs. Conspiracy, we will be discussing the reptilian connection over coffee.
Pop your mind out and just don't use it.
And let it just dribble all over the floor.
Just pop your mind out and smash it against the wall. Oh, hello, Purple.
We begin our story this week
Hi,
with
Purple.
the term Draco.
Links are in the
Draconian.
Discord if anyone wants
Over the
to
past
come
couple
in.
of years, we've heard this term thrown around quite a bit, from
And
anti-maskers to anti-vaccine protesters, about the
And yes, not all saurians. Like Purple is a Triceratopsian, and the Triceratopsians are good.
draconian laws various governments around the world have forced upon us to combat the COVID-19 pandemic. Of course, the term draconian isn't anything new. The first known usage was back in 1775. The term means great severity, in which small offenses had heavy punishments. Draco is also seen in the night sky and forms the constellation of Draco. Located in the far northern sky, its name is Latin for dragon. Hold on to
It's cool, Purple. We've all had the anxiety days.
this for a moment. I'll come back to Draco in a minute. The word dragon shares a similar history to that of snakes. Both are similar in appearance. However, dragons are said to be mythical serpent creatures. But where did these myths originate? Are dragons and snakes?
So, any idea, just asking a question, any idea where the myths of dragons come from? Could there have been like something in the water of the bones of dinosaurs being
Yeah.
found?
I would guess that dinosaur bones were the basis for stories of dragons.
Yep. And
Like if
Yeah.
you have no
Are they
scientific
the same story?
background or
Let's
whatever,
find out.
and you come
Story.
across that.
In Greek mythology,
also stories what are told by
Sorry
travelers
about
that
that.
they went to countries where they saw big lizards.
Oh, Martin, that's an excellent point. The 1993 Super Mario movie. And you know what's really, really fun, right? If you want to go into the lizard person conspiracies, right? You take a look at King Koopa, and then you take a look at the mannerisms of Donald Trump. I mean, right down to the shitty blonde hair and the being a real estate developer and a snake oil politician. Yes, King Koopa looks like Donald Trump.
the snake is a symbol of rebirth and renewal. Both snakes and their venom have been used for healing the sick. In fact, these symbols of snakes being involved with healing is where we got the symbol often used for healthcare. As the story goes, Apollo gave his staff to Hermes to help separate two fighting snakes. During the encounter, the two snakes were said to have coiled up the staff. The symbol of two snakes wrapped around the staff is sometimes depicted having wings. The wings are said to symbolize being a
Just an observation here. Is anyone picking up that the Greeks had the mythology of the snakes being wrapped around the pole, and then in the Bible, the same thing? Like there's a commonality, like there was a shared story at one point.
Hmm.
Messenger between the gods and humans. We see
And
these messages between
the other thing is, of course, they used poison to make actually an anti-poison. It's the whole thing. What actually vaccination is that you get a small part of the disease put in your bloodstream so that your body can actually make an antidote and fight the bigger stuff. So it recognized the thing they have to fight. Your
Yeah, but
body has to fight.
yeah, but still, like they still make anti-venom from the venom itself. So
Yeah,
Of
they
course, but they used, of course, the real snake to make a little bit of venom into your bloodstream so that you actually can get immune for the snake bite
yeah, there are
in those days.
people who there are professional snake milkers who do take like micrograms, I mean really small amounts of the venoms, and over time they inject themselves and their bodies make the antibodies that neutralize the toxins.
gods and
Yeah.
humans showing up in just about every culture on Earth. The Nephilim, Watchers, demigods. Stories with some sort of reptile creatures with human features, not only guiding us, but also ruling over us.
yeah,
Chinese mythology talks about
And yes, Martin, the symbol is on the ambulance because, like, from the Christian tradition and the Jewish tradition, that's the staff that Moses used to heal the people.
Fu Xi, the god of creation and mankind's first ancestor, with the head of a man and the body of a snake, and sometimes referred to as the Dragon King. In Hindu mythology, there is a similar story, the subdivine or demigod called Naga, Sanskrit for serpent, and is said to be half human, half cobra, with shape-shifting abilities. They live in an underground kingdom called Naga Loka, or Patala Loka. The dynasties of Manipur in
Is anyone getting the desire to play Dungeons and Dragons?
No, I am
Northeast.
no.
more getting some anxious attacks because I'm afraid of snakes.
Oh, we'll
Southern
skip through
India.
this then.
and the
No,
Purvasta
it's no problem.
in
I
southern
just
India,
look away here.
and the ruling family of Funan, each claiming their origins with humans and Naga, the serpent. In the Bible, serpents tempt Adam and Eve, which results in them being expelled from the Garden of Eden. Consequences that
Oh, fun little fact. The word that's used in the original Hebrew for the word for knowledge, as in they knew, Adam knew Eve and whatnot, is Yodea, which is where we get the word Yoda from. But they couldn't copyright a 4,000-year-old word.
form the basis of Christianity.
Hmm.
There have been countless stories of reptilian creatures interacting with humans, helping to shape our development throughout the ages. With the Chinese and Hindu myths, we're starting to see the connection between royals and the serpent gods. In 1811,
Or there could be nothing at all.
it was first described by the royals as having blue blood. This was to describe
You actually want to know the fun thing about the blue blood? Colloidal silver.
Hmm.
Silver has weak antibiotic properties, and modern antibiotics kick the performance of colloidal silver's ass, so get your modern antibiotics, because colloidal silver can turn you blue, literally turn you blue, but that's where the term blue blood comes from.
and distinguish between the three classes of people, blue being royalty, and finally yellow for the less desirable common folk. Blue blood is often associated with serpents and other reptiles. It's interesting that blue would be associated with royalty, especially since the mention of blue was so rare in the ancient world, with the exception
Blue was very rare in the ancient world because think about it, how many minerals are actually blue? Think of your gemstones. Most of them are red, green, or orange or pink. Very rarely is there any blue. They had lapis and that was it.
And also like if you look at like plants and animals, blue is not that common.
No, but in
Yeah,
the
and
Netherlands they actually use also blue for if you are a half blood, and blue for if you're completely drunk.
Yeah.
and as far as topaz goes, actually most topaz are not blue naturally. They irradiate them. It's very rare to find natural blue topaz because it needs to be a source next to a source of moderate radioactivity for millions of years, or you need to put it in a nuclear reactor. Well, actually, what they do to make London blue topaz is they put it near cobalt 60, and that gives it that intense blue. And for the lighter blues, they use X-rays.
being Egypt. According to David Icke and Zachariah Stitchin before him, it's in these Egyptian and Babylonian cultures that the idea of
Sobek, the Lord of Sperm. Literally, Sobek was supposedly the Lord of Sperm, and the rising, I think, was a rising of the setting of the sun or something like that. But I know that from the H-bomber guy, Sobek was the Lord of the juices.
reptilian aliens begin to emerge. David Icke describes in his books that there's a race of interdimensional reptilian beings called
Interdimensional now.
Yep.
Weird.
the Arconans. They have been working against us from the very beginning, preventing us from reaching our full potential. According to David Icke, the Arconans are the same beings as the Anunnaki in the Babylonian creation myths.
And if anyone doesn't know about that, Sitchins basically made shit up. No one who's into any serious archaeology believes any of this. He has the role of the different deities in the Babylonian hierarchy all screwed up. He was basically someone who made up bullshit back in the 60s or 70s and popularized it, but it has literally nothing to do with the actual mythology in the Sanskrit texts. He basically made everything up.
Christianity refers to them as fallen angels. These fallen angels mated with human women to create the Nephilim. These hybrid beings are said to be shape-shifting reptilians, known as the Babylon Brotherhood. If you're
Now, that whole thing is actually like rooted in the Ephraim, the Hebrew language, because the word for snake and the word for angel, seraph, are like the same. But again, we're dealing with mythologies here, and this is all the bullshit.
Yeah,
Does
can you back
anything
up,
when
like, one frame though and show, because the image they're using, one
this
ahead.
one?
No, one more ahead. No, there, that one. Doesn't don't I see a fish and a bird. I don't see like a serpent or a dragon in this.
Nope.
But I'm like
Nope.
maybe I'm missing something. And the one on the left.
Nope, you're
looks like
correct.
Looks like wings. Like the one on the left looks more like a traditional
It's
angel
not
drawing, like a
Al,
human.
Al, it's not
Yeah.
you missing something, it's them missing something.
Oh, okay, sorry. But you but Commander, these aren't yours. These aren't your drawings.
It
No.
looks like pictures
Yeah.
from
the video.
an old age Halloween party.
I mean, I would love that fish costume. That is that is lit for sure. But I definitely see like a traditional angel with a pretty cool goatee, a bird thing, and a fish.
Yeah, I don't see any lizards here.
No.
Yeah.
Shifting reptilians, known as the Babylon Brotherhood. If you're not familiar with this name, you probably know them by their other name, the Illuminati.
And again, the whole story about the Illuminati was a joke in a publication in the 1970s, and it completely got out of hand.
Yep.
Brotherhood originated in the Draco's constellation, some 50.
The Brotherhood originated in a constellation.
Yes, of course. That's where brotherhoods always start.
Okay, now this one looks
If
like
you're a weirdo.
a bird hawk looking thing with a snake body. I'll give you a snake body on that one.
Yeah,
But that
but
beak
if
is not very serpent-like.
you look at the constellations, it's always fun how they actually came up with the drawings. You see 3 stars and they make something up what it is.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but though I mean, back then there was a lot less light pollution, so maybe they saw other stuff. But yeah, they do connect just a few dots and call it. There's a lot of imagination at work for sure. I agree.
Fun fact about constellations actually in the south. If you look at the Southern Cross, we think it's actually a cross. But if you look at the constellation above it, there's a centurion, and the crux is just between the back legs of the centurion. It's a whole different crux.
And for those of you who don't know, Tiny Captain is an actual sea captain who navigates fairly good-sized vessels all around the world, and he would know.
Million light years from
You
Earth.
can't see that stuff from way up
Descendants
here.
of their bloodlines includes the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, and the British House of Windsor, or the current royal family. There are similarities from this.
And when you throw in the Rothschilds, you automatically have anti-Semitic conspiracy theories up the yang-yang. Marjorie Space Laser Green, right? She thinks that the satellites are setting the fires when all you need is some douchebag throwing a cigarette out the window of a car in the tinderbox known as California.
Oh, yeah, or like any
and
Western
also,
for it.
You're mentioning satellites being part of conspiracies. You know what I came across on Instagram? Someone mentioning, okay, don't laugh too hard. They said satellites are jamming prayers to God and turning them evil.
Now,
Well, that's confirmed. Though. That's true. I'll let Commander explain why it's true.
Now, how can a satellite change the intent of your prayer to the Almighty? And if you're claiming the Almighty that you believe in can be interrupted by a man-made satellite, then
he ain't almighty.
So either he ain't almighty or you're full of nonsense. And I would have to say,
or both.
Could be a possibility, but at least the person making up the bullshit about the satellites is full of nonsense.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it might work the same way. You know how like you can put positive messages, like if you say positive words over a glass of water, the water remembers the positivity versus like negative water, like the water will pick up.
Oh, that's homeopathy, and
yeah, exactly. And so like,
that's a barrel of laughs for.
That's been confirmed, and so I don't know why we wouldn't.
By who?
Thing.
But
by what conspiracy theorist is that confirmed?
By crackpots that believe in homeopathy. but I've heard people say pretty believable things towards it. I mean, it doesn't make any sense, but yeah.
And for those of you who don't know what homeopathy is, they take something that causes an ailment or a symptom, and then they dilute it to the point where there's really should be no remaining substance of it and still left in the medicine, and then they give you the sugar pill or the water without anything in it, and then the placebo effect takes over.
Well, yeah.
But
And like
at
I do
least
have to say, like
want to.
I do believe there
I
is
want to say
there
one.
are
Sorry.
some plants that have properties that can help you, but most of that shit is like
Not if you dilute it to the point where if you had a
Yeah, it's not
bubble
not
40
detectable.
light
Yeah.
years 40 light years in diameter. Cold Hard Logic did the calculation as to what the most popular homeopathic dose was, 40C. And you'd have to have a bubble of water approximately 40 light years in diameter to have a half a milligram of some sort of substance in it at the dilution of 40C. And we'll
Yeah.
go into homeopathy another day. That ought to be a barrel of laughs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Okay,
even
I-
people that think
Tiny wanted to
the
say something.
Captain wanted. Yeah, sorry, I don't want to jump
Yeah.
ahead here. Yeah.
I wanted to say, at least that person that actually thinks that the satellites is blocking the prayers believes that understands that satellites are a thing.
that's true. That's true.
I mean, that definitely
They're
give
at
them a
least
tick
not a
mark
flurf.
on that side. But I was gonna say on this, like I've heard people say that they only trust water that's been melted from Antarctica or from like the inside of an iceberg because they think like the other water's been tainted by modern humans, like because it's been used and the only water's been locked up in ice for millennia and can be trusted.
Yeah, don't drink the yellow
That's weird.
snow.
Story and that of the Chinese myth. Both myths talk about reptilian creatures shaping humanity after the Great Flood. The reptilian creatures are often depicted living underground, which probably contributed to the story of hell. These stories became a little closer to reality when, in 1933, G. Warren Shuffle, a mining engineer, was told a story from Chief Greenleaf of the Hopi Indians that there was a race of lizard people that used mysterious chemicals to carve a network of tunnels underneath Los Angeles. These lizard people possessed golden treasures that Shuffle and others tried to find. Let's pop back to Zachariah.
Okay. Anyone want to respond to that?
He probably went down too deep, got into some gas, started hallucinating, and I don't know.
Or maybe
You probably got it right.
Or maybe he got too deep into a glass or something or a bottle.
Yeah, but there's if you dig in the ground, there are plenty gases there that are stopped by soil. There are
Well,
actually
there's
toxic,
the
and when you breathe them in, you start to hallucinate.
Well, they do have the La Brea tar pits and all kinds of hydrocarbons coming out of the ground in LA.
Stitchin for a second. It's important to note that there's a lot of people that follow his beliefs and his theories about the Anunnaki. But there's one thing that we have to keep in mind when talking about Zachariah Stitchin. While working on his books, he rented an office building.
Yes, he was a kook, and nothing that he says is backed up by archaeology.
Yeah, no, like that's what he was gonna say, right? That we got to remember that he's cuckoo.
Probably not, but
No.
I just wanted to remind everyone.
In New York City from the Rockefellers. Because of this little detail, I believe it throws into question all his research about his claims. If the Rockefellers are as powerful as many claim, there is no way that he would be able to write something this damning without them knowing or influencing what he was writing. Perhaps it was part of the plan all along leading
It was-
believers to people like David Icke and what some call misguided conspiracies. Or maybe it's all true.
You
One thing
noticed
that is for certain.
sorry. You noticed actually that when he said when he did some research, you saw just a finger clicking on the mousepad of a laptop. He probably thinks that googling something and looking up something on Facebook is research.
No, research
Well, that's
is actually like
flat Earth research.
Yeah, I'm not talking about
Res-
us. I'm talking about the guy who makes the video.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh
like,
yeah.
Captain,
that's flat
Captain's
Earth
pointing out that
research.
some people think that it's equivalent to reading actual like published works from academics and knowledgeable people who are writing on the subject in peer-reviewed publications is not the same as just reading what some guy living in his mom's basement said on some Reddit post.
Oh, it's
No.
most definitely the same.
It's still
Reddit can always be trusted, right?
Yeah, and for the
You can
record, go ahead.
You can still find some research, of you can do research on the internet, but make sure that you actually search on .edu or .pdfs and make sure the PDFs are actually from real peer-reviewed.
Yeah, and also
that's in that.
You like look at multiple sources.
Yeah.
One thing you can do, when I was taking some classes at community college, this was early American literature, and my professor would not accept any source unless it was supported by an accredited university or the United States government, no matter how good it looked, no matter what quality it looked, because you can have a website that looks like it's professional, but it's full of shit. And you need to make sure it's accredited university or supported by one, because otherwise people make shit up.
Yeah, but
don't
nowadays, if you say it's accredited by the U.S. government, well,
people won't believe it.
There was a time that you guys had a president. What he said was maybe said by the U.S. government because he was, but I won't drink bleach.
30,000 lies and over 35,000 lies. Yeah. That kind of is suspect. And if that continues to happen, then...
Yeah, let's just only mention, let's all go drink bleach. I'm saying that's not a good idea. That's what they said. YouTube.
They suggested it heavily. They also said we should inject sunlight, which
yeah.
Just put fluorescent lights up your backside, and that will cure all them ills.
I don't know. I mean, that's fluorescent lights work with noble gases, and that sounds more like an ignoble pursuit. But perhaps you could get it all to come together.
Yeah, but it's the same guy that actually also said about his daughter. Look at my daughter, I would do her.
Oh fuck.
Oh yeah, if she wasn't my daughter, I'd do her. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, anyone that's seen what goes on around there would not. I think they'd run in the other direction because that is some messed up shit going on up around there.
Culture around the world has myths and legends about reptilian-human hybrids with shape-shifting abilities, often living beneath the surface and pulling the strings of humanity's evolution for thousands of years. These same reptilians have been always in positions of power and influence in all these myths. Is it possible that the royal family and other elites descended from the reptilian race from the Draco system, some 50 million light years away?
No, absolutely not.
Like, I mean, a lot of things are possible. That ain't one of them.
And hi, MJ.
Hello.
Hi.
Let me know what you think in the comments. If you like this
Uh,
podcast, please.
I don't think he knows. He wants to know what I think. Comments or
No,
otherwise.
What I
And
think
I
will probably
have-
get blocked by YouTube.
It involves guano. That's all I can say.
now I do have one more video to show, and because this is where like a lot of these conspiracies converge, and you just have to see how awesome us deep state people were when we were fucking with someone in 2000. This is according to him in 2012. We were messing with him before any of us ever met.
And Purple makes a really great point there. Don't
It's
they?
possible the ancients feared
Purple,
animals that they saw killing people. Why, yeah,
Yeah.
if something
Yeah,
bites someone and then
And you
they
die from it. Yeah.
That seems
Yeah,
kind
like
of
you're
plausible.
gonna worship that and like try and not upset them.
Yeah, it's
Right.
magic. They just bite you once, and you, later on, a few minutes, a few hours, or a few days later, you die. That's magic at that time.
Yeah.
Just like
Absolutely.
probably the way the prohibition on eating shellfish happened. Someone ate shellfish, they swelled up, and someone assumed, well, maybe we're not supposed to eat that, and it became a commandment. Don't touch it.
Entirely possible.
The same reason why Muslims do not eat pork is because they couldn't keep it good in the desert, because pork meat goes bad very fast, and
the
people got
trichinosis.
sick from it.
The trichinosis, yeah, it's like one
Yeah.
of the hardest meats to keep sanitary.
Exactly.
It's one of the easiest to farm, but keep sanitary. It's not exactly easy to do so. And
I watched a very nice video about that, actually.
Modern refrigeration has changed a few things, and also the availability of like curing, smoking and curing techniques and dehydration techniques. Like we have a lot of technology now that was and reliable testing
But-
methods too, right?
To prevent people from dying in the old age was actually from, don't eat it because Allah said it was it's not good for you.
Well,
And
they didn't
I
have a
don't got
scientific
this from
reason.
myself. I got this from actually one of my Indonesian friends that is Muslim that said, yeah, it's this and this and this happened, and we're not now not allowed to eat pork meat, but I have a good refrigerator at home, so I don't know why I'm not allowed.
It's possible they didn't get the message from the deities that were telling them what to write down back then, that in the future the prophets didn't say about modern food handling techniques would eliminate many foodborne diseases or mitigate them greatly.
modern
just
refrigeration has enabled billions of people to live where if it went away tomorrow, billions would die.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah. And also water purification and yeah, there's a lot of modern technology that's changed everything, and modern science that gives us the way to test and confirm that things are safe, along with good technology and the availability of a way to monitor things, and it's changed a lot.
This one video I'm going to show just probably before we pack it in. I actually want to do a series on this one, but I want to do videos on, like we were talking about, modern refrigeration techniques, modern chemistry, modern farming, and I want to stay away from some of the claims that this creator makes, because some of our cast no longer believes that stuff that the claims, but it might make them feel bad. So we're just gonna like touch on the fact that this creator that I do want to do some debunking on is basically making suggestions that would cause billions to die, and that's what I do want to cover. But let's expose everyone who is not from the debunking community to this.
This is a story about my last ayahuasca ceremony. I believe this story is meaningful for a lot of us in many ways,
and for those who don't know, ayahuasca is a hallucinogen. And this blue thing is going to talk about how the deep state was messing with it years ago.
So that's why I'm called to share with you today. Now, jumping right into the first ceremony, about an hour after drinking the first cup, I had not seen anything so far, but I began to feel this discomfort in my belly. It grew from discomfort into painful, and soon there I am writhing in agony, and I'm not receiving any clarity on what's going on. I'm just in a lot of pain. The spirit of Mother Ayahuasca, who is the spirit of the earth, was with us that night and saw that I needed help, sending one of the shaman helpers to come and see me. This was an amazing man, and he brought his magic in full, using prayers, blessings, and lotions to help. But when he was done, the pain had not departed. He then told me,
I know, Purple, and actually the mycotoxins are a thing when inhaled. Like there's been incidences where people in farming communities had mass hallucinations because of fungus. Let me highlight that.
I'm actually allergic for fungus.
Yeah, I think a lot of them are toxic. But even I'm pretty sure I have an intolerance to them. I dislike them. I don't like the smell or taste or texture of them. And anytime I've accidentally ingested more than a trace amount, I felt very ill.
No, that's the problem with me. I love the mushrooms to eat for with a steak or something. I love the taste, but I get really, really sick from them. And it gets on my throat straight away. So when I walk in an area where there's a lot of fungus or a lot of mold, I feel it also straight away in my throat.
Yeah, I think some people definitely have a less of a tolerance or a greater immune response to them.
Yeah.
he was not strong enough to solve this for me, and I had to pray to God. And so I prayed to God with all my heart.
Which one?
After maybe 10 minutes, God's representative appeared. He was like the harbinger of the supreme creative power, appearing as a mega ultimate super
Purple, you are now moderator.
being who I understood to be the sun god, Ra, complete with anime-like super armor. I mean, if there was ever an anime-level sun god in existence, this was him. And now suddenly we're in a big Hollywood movie. Gosh, I hope the action scenes are good. The Super Titan Ra then sends this gigantic chain whip straight into my belly, which latches onto something.
Don't you just love that face?
Yeah.
That's, this one harkens back to one of the earlier videos. In a way.
I gotta admit, like the animations and like the whole production is quite nice. It's quite entertaining.
It's just that it's bollocks.
And this freaking hulk of a god starts drawing out something incredibly dark and incredibly evil. As a point of credit to the weight of the psychic attack anchor, even with all of his power, it took Ra a long time to pull it out.
Oh, wait.
And so as I'm watching...
So he was... So they were quite evil, and the evil just got pulled out of him at that point?
But wait.
Like a drain snake here to pull out the evil demons from its intestinal tract here.
Yeah, it's full of shit.
It being pulled from me, the more I begin to understand what is happening.
Something dark.
You see, this was not just any ordinary psychic attack anchor created by your average spirit or malevolent wizard, but a particular psychic attack anchor put inside me by the deep state to stop me.
There, see, that's how awesome we are as a deep state. We evidently put that inside of him, And
That
he's
got
going to
pulled
tell
in.
us when.
from becoming an
A
ascended
deburring
master.
tool.
And it was a
Why would we put that in there?
Because he said so.
But
I know, it makes
why
absolutely
is he
no sense.
Why
Was
is
there,
he
like, a
pulling the
tool and
butt
die
plug
maker doing
out
this?
through his belly? Like, that's not how you take
Because
a butt
that
plug.
was an easier track because you see the blue thing is constipated.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
serious
that's
piece of
actually
work.
adult.
And
making
that's why
fun
you still have a navel.
Yes.
Angels told me it was one of the most ultimate super
If you look at
weapons
the
known
shape
in
of
the
that
astral
thing, he
universe.
originally animated this in the prone position, but he had to change it for a wider audience.
Yes.
The way it worked was this. This anchor was entirely invisible and undetectable to me, and would supply my mind with exactly the right ingredients for a healthy mindset of self-loathing, feeding me thoughts and actions with the intention of having me completely ruin my own life for me.
Did you hear what he said? The deep state filled him with ideas probably like shame.
You notice this guy
Work
wears
was this.
a scarf, but has zero neck. Like his neck's literally non-existent.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
This
Not
anchor
quite
was
as weird as wearing
entirely
a scarf but no pants.
He has
But I
pants.
mean, it worked for Donald Duck for like a shirt with no pants. So I mean, like, you know.
No, but did you discover also that he has no shirt, but the shirt is repaired?
The
He
shirt
has
is
this patch
It's
on
like
his chest where the shirt is repaired, but he does not have a shirt.
But same with his head.
I mean,
Yeah.
he lacks, you know,
Oh, that's where they took the
digits
brain
on
out.
his hands.
yes,
or
that's
paddles
exactly
or
where
whatever
they
the-
did the surgery.
They did the surgery in his abdomen, yeah.
And
So
his
they
head.
took that.
True.
invisible.
Well,
and
one is
undetectable
taking out his heart, the other one taking out his brain.
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he does make arguments that we should go back to the traditional farming methods and that industrial farming is evil, even though if you went from industrial farming to traditional methods, everyone on earth would have to be a farmer or billions would die. I'd say that's heartless.
But also, we could all do with eating so much less meat. I'm guilty as fucking charged, but we could, yeah.
And would supply my
I
mind with
I don't want to stop eating meat. That's
exactly
No,
the
I'm not
right
saying stop eating, but eat less.
ingredients for a healthy mindset of self-loathing, feeding me thoughts and actions with the intention of having me completely ruin my own life for me. So anyway, I'm starting to understand this, and eventually Ra gets this thing out of my belly, and I watch as he hurls it into the surface of the sun. Then he takes this gigantic megaton hammer and begins smashing it over and over and over against the surface of the sun with all of the strength of heaven. And this goes on for some time. If you were to see the whole thing in fast motion, it would probably look like... Seriously, it made
That was
Sauron's
metal.
Ring of Power seem like that thing was made out of salt in comparison.
But also, since when does the sun have a solid surface?
It
And
doesn't.
so Ra was the first one that probed the sun.
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, if you look at his content, basically he was probably feeling that people were trying to fill him with shame for the horrible things that he has suggested people do, like take
yeah.
hallucinogens rather than modern pharmaceuticals for things like cancer.
After about an hour and a half, the anchor cracked and it began to dissolve into the sun. And while I felt better, something was still off. And the next day of ceremony, it was revealed to me that this anchor had a trap built in.
And how did he ascertain that?
A trap.
A trap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This has just occurred to him now. That it has
Yes.
crab.
If ever it was removed from my body, it would eject a part of itself that was more like a liquid than the solid form of the anchor. A
And how do you
Nope.
figure that
black
out?
goo, if you
No,
will.
but also why not immediately start with that thing? Just saying. Why first put the
Well,
solid thing
because
in?
it doesn't make
The
a
riveting
story.
narrative here, you know, like
Okay.
he's you know he's wending his way through this wonderful story of Ra, the god
The
of
deep
the
state.
rituals, the deep state, and the lizard people, and you know, hurling a 1 megaton hammer would be nothing compared to the sun. I don't know
But
if people realize that.
still,
I mean,
it does not compare to the power of the wooden clog.
well,
Yes,
yeah.
I need
Yeah.
to actually get that video.
And continue to manipulate me from the inside. I spent 2 days fighting this thing like the Venom symbiote, except this one didn't have a sense of humor.
Like a turd in the wind.
And in this battle, I saw where this thing had come
Sounds a
from.
bit like a raccoon.
I had been targeted all the way back in 2012 on a night that I accidentally ate too much of a cannabis edible, which was very concentrated, but that hadn't been disclosed. So I ended up getting very paranoid that night, and I passed out in one of those basements that only had concrete and pipes all over the place. It was very freaky.
Why
And when I
was
finally-
he there? Why was he doing edibles in some kind of weird concrete basement?
And this
Hey,
was a
didn't
deep
you-
state doing it to him. Now, I'm just going to go and see what year was Spirit Science founded. I bet you it's 2012.
But I think he's in they themselves are in a deep state of bullshit.
State of
Oh,
confusion,
just
state of-
like I'm full of this shit. Okay.
yeah.
Yep. The first video was 2011, actually, December 30th, 2011. So
that
he
goes it.
actually, this whole thing was basically the deep state was probably trying to stop him from doing the horrors that he was doing, right?
Yeah.
It didn't work.
I woke up. It was 2 days later. It was in that void space that the anchor was planted. So I'm there in ceremony, evicting venom from my body in every meaning of the phrase, and I'm beginning to get this understanding. Through me, this anchor wreaked havoc on my life.
It's really good animated, except that one the part.
Oh man, this guy just ain't right.
No.
I can't
No,
believe
yeah.
Little Piggle did
Fuck,
this.
man.
What he's telling you is not right, but the way it's animated is quite good.
Oh yeah.
Except that one face.
They have some production value.
Yeah.
I gotta give them
Yeah,
that.
that's the reason why they are where they are, is their production value. Because it's utter shite else.
There were
otherwise.
times where I published videos that I really shouldn't have.
Like most of them. Really,
all of
like
them?
most of them. Yes. Especially this
I got
one.
myself into partnerships, personally and professionally, that were unhealthy or even dangerous to be a part of, and said things about myself that were not true and caused so much damage, leading to a lot of bad energy swirling around me and building up some serious karmic debt. But the biggest help I ever got was going to Rhythmia enough times to be
Don't go there.
Arrhythmia.
Don't go there. They just fill you with nonsense.
Well, maybe I'm looking for a good dose of nonsense. That's kind of my jam. Actually,
Be
no,
able
I
to
like
release-
I like marmalade, just in case anybody's wondering.
release myself from this evil thing once and for all. After all 4 days of ceremony, at last, the last of it was gone. My soul could breathe again, but
And I really can't take any more of that.
Yeah, yeah. Ceremony, orgy, yeah, something like that.
Something.
So basically, he goes to South America to binge on ayahuasca for weeks on end to solve all his spiritual problems at the expense of the people who fall for his shite and give him money.
Well, I mean, you don't want to go on your own dime.
Of course not.
Well, I am. Hey, I just noticed something.
What?
In the logo, I see. I mean, I thought it was a bird, but I'm after that other video. I think maybe that's a serpent or a dragon. I've been misled for a long time, and I just tonight am coming to understand what's going on.
And next week, we're going to have the final channel name and the final logo. It's going to be similar to this, but just a few different touches.
All right. Yeah, we want to be we want to begin with the final.
Yeah.
The last word on the beginning.
Yeah. So yeah. If we're finishing up and we're speaking of lizard people, I just noticed that in 1 minute our good friend, the security monitor lizard, is going live. So I'm putting his link in the side chat.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
Sounds good.
So yeah.
Yeah.
He's an awesome person. So yeah.
Yep.
He makes pickles.
And next week I have some more coherent stuff lined up. I have an entire lesson on where the blue thing gets a lot of its nonsense, where Blavatsky fits into it, and the rantings of some crazy pink-headed preachers, and we're going to have some fun. It's not just going to be a lesson, it's going to be a laugh lesson.
You say something more coherent than this. Like, you're not putting that bar really high.
Well,
we want to have fun, don't we?
Like, fucking hell, you can't get less coherent than this kind of shit.
Well, I think that was the fault of the people who bilge the bullshit on the internet.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
no,
we're just
I
here
know.
to make fun of it.
Yeah, no, I know, but like,
I don't think coherent is as much fun as incoherent. This is a scale, or like it's a sliding scale maybe, but like you want to have just enough. You want to be just believable enough that you think somebody might believe it, so you can debunk it without just being silly.
I think this is a discussion that I'm probably going to see if anyone wants to have a show planning thing on Wednesday.
On Wednesday,
I'm open for I am open for input and video suggestions. I mean, M2M let me know about a bunch of Apollo deniers, and that could be fun, but we got to find the right videos for it.
like the Greek myth or the
No,
the
Apollo
space program.
landing.
Oh yeah, the space
Yeah, people
program, yes,
who
a lot of
do
people.
people who deny the Apollo missions happen because of course the Soviet Union would just sit there and let America fake it without calling bullshit if we faked it, right?
yeah, no, yeah, of course.
Maybe.
It would have been a huge propaganda coup if they could prove we were lying. That's probably why we know it. We actually went. So
Yeah.
everyone have a good night. If anyone wants to
Thank you,
shill
good
anything, Tiny Cap, put your link in the description. People should go and sub to
Oh,
you
yeah.
too,
Absolutely.
and
listeners.
Al as well.
My link.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna
That
be
shouldn't be too hard to get.
the good little whore that I always am. And I'm gonna also put a link in, and that's not to my own channel because I don't do shit.
How do I do that?
Where is that? And I'm gonna put this link for our good friend Slim Living Cyborg. Basically, his live streams is
Yeah.
where I live.
Exactly.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I keep forgetting to shill for that. Although I have done a few recently. I think that's my
I have to
channel. I hope that's
refresh
what I
the-
just posted. Purple wants to know who the pink-headed preacher is waving a stick.
Oh, that would be Kat Kerr. I mean, she's a barrel of nonsense.
Oh yeah. No, I've seen some of her nonsense.
And
yeah,
there's this whole thing with the New Apostolic Reformation, where there's basically their version of their end times and the version of the Blavatsky, and where basically there is a connection between hard right wing World War II bad guy occult stuff and the theology of a lot of those preachers regarding the end times, which is that's just a personal interest of mine.
Yeah, there's. I
But-
mean, if you go down any of these rabbit holes, you can end up in a lot of different things. And there's obviously a lot of stuff is based on shreds of truth and weird things that were thought by previous people. Some of whom
But a lot
should
of
and
it's-
should not be named on the interweb.
True.
We
So
know who
anyway-
we want to be in trouble with and who we don't.
Yeah. Anyway, everybody have a great night. And Al, I apologize if I cut you off.
No, don't, not at all. Not at all. Thank you to everyone who came to watch, and thanks for letting me participate. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Go
So-
over
yeah.
to Lizard's channel and have
Yeah,
a great
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we will.